the problems that the lower classes and historically marginalized groups, well, more often than not, right-leaning populists just talk about lower classes. But let's say, for the sake of argument, hypothetically, we are just talking about them. Their material conditions are not going to be improved by just injecting austerity measures that strip away social policies. It's not going to be by banning immigration. The issue, see, is not people that look different than you. The issue is the material conditions that surround us, the socioeconomic conditions that surround us, and that is not, as any economist worth their salt over the better part of 100 years now has proven, is a net gain on the economy. So, over the last stream, someone who is no longer in chat because they're an MLM and they did the whole, oh, how can you be a communist and not support imperialism and fascism? I am very big brain. Did, however, want me to cover the Finnish elections, something that I wasn't privy to. And I thought, hey, you know what? We talk about America enough. Why don't we do something else for a lovely little change? A nice little change of pace, right? I like to keep things nice and spicy for you guys. Specifically, Finnish spice. Finland's PM, Marin, concedes defeat as right-wing NCP wins election. We're going to be learning a little bit more about the NCP together because Finland, I believe, has population 5 million? A fraction of the Chad America's population. So I wasn't all too privy, but we're going to learn together. Helsinki, April 2nd. Finland's left-wing Prime Minister, Sanna Marin, not a friend of the show if I don't know how to say their name, conceded defeat on Sunday in the Nordic country's parliamentary election as the opposition right-wing National Coalition Party claimed victory in a tightly fought contest. The pro-business NCP was expected to win 48 of the 200 seats in parliament, narrowly ahead of the National Finns Party with 46 seats and Marin's Social Democrats on 43 seats, just as ministry election data showed with all the ballots counted. We've got the biggest mandate, NCP leader Petteri Orpo said in a speech to followers, vowing to fix Finland and its economy. I wonder where we've heard that one before, boys. He will get the first chance at forming a coalition to obtain majority in parliament as Marin's era as prime minister was expected to end. Now you might be asking, who is Marin? Well, Marin, 37, the world's youngest prime minister, when she took office in 2019, is considered by fans around the globe as a millennial role model for progressive leaders. But at home, she has faced criticism for her partying and for her government's public spending. I got the wiki. Don't worry, I got the wiki. Sanna Marin, Mirella Marin, is a Finnish politician who has been serving as Prime Minister of Finland since 2019, a member of the Social Democrat Party of Finland, SDP. She's been a member of parliament since 2015. Marin was born in Helsinki but later moved to Tampere, where she graduated from the University of Tampere. She joined the Social Democrat Youth in 2006, later serving as its vice president from 2010 to 2012. She served as member of the City Council and was later elected member of parliament. The part that I'm a little bit more interested on is the spending that we were talking about. On the 25th of May, 2021, Finnish media reported that Marin and her family were spending about €300 per month on groceries, with public funds as a part of the Prime Minister's tax fees, housing benefits in the unofficial residence, Kesaranta. It's always a reading comprehensibility or comprehension check on the Commie Bravo stream, folks. The legality of the customary arrangement that had been in place for decades was questioned since the rules of the residential benefits did not explicitly mention food provisions. Later on, the amount spent was found to be €850 per month, not the €300 first thought. Marin and her family had used around €14,363 and 20 whatever the equivalent of cents is on catering services in the form of breakfast provisions and cold evening meals in the Prime Minister's official residence between January 2020 and 2021. I am not sure how much public funds are normally, well, it says that it's not supposed to go towards food, but I'm assuming that is this taxpayer money that is going towards her paycheck? I'm not sure what the public funds are supposed to be used for. I'm not sure if this is money that is supposed to be spent on the parliament members, or if this is funds that are supposed to be reallocated back to the public. If it's the prior, I see no issue with it. If it's the latter, that is a bad look. That is not good. She stated that she did not know the limit. It turned out that civil servants in the Prime Minister's office, V&K, handled the payments, and Marin was not informed of the running costs of the residential perk. Marin's family have resided in the Casaranta residence, unusually much for a prime minister, due to the restrictions and practices during the pandemic. With the controversy over spending on groceries, Marin had to dispel speculation that public money had also been spent on her wedding. Okay. Well, even if it was the prior in those circumstances I was postulating, this is not a good look, sweaty, and is also not ethical or good. Yeah, socialism is when I reallocate funds and use it for my dream wedding. Saying that she and her husband paid for all of our wedding expenses ourselves. Wait, Marin had to dispel speculation. Did this happen or not? Jury's out, I guess. The Office of Chancellor of Justice cleared Marin of illegalities in its verdict in December 2022 and stated that she had the right to trust the civil servants whom the office rebuked for unlawful actions. Yikes. Yeah, even if these were false things, the fact that they're going through court and everything, I don't know. I'm not saying this is how it should be, but certainly not a good look in her favor. In early December 2021, Marin visited a nightclub in Helsinki with some friends. Earlier that day, she had been in contact with Finland's foreign minister, who subsequently tested positive for COVID-19, thus exposing the prime minister to the infection. Marin was informed of this and advised by the Undersecretary of State. That's just a funny name for some reason. That she did not, I think of underdog. I think that's why I think it's funny. That she did not need to self-isolate and she was fully vaccinated. Yikes. Later that night, when was this? 2021? End of 2021? Later that night, 2 text messages were sent to Marin's governmental work phone alerting her that she should isolate after all. However, Marin didn't receive the messages because she was only carrying her parliamentary work phone. The governmental work phone has different security restrictions for usage. Apparently, there was also a failure to check whether she had received the update and therefore no messages to her parliamentary phone. The phone camera video of Marin in the nightclub published by the magazine that broke the story 7, how do I even say this? Paiva? Sure. Shows Marin on the dance floor checking her smartwatch for messages. According to Marin, she had been told that going out in public was permitted due to her having been fully vaccinated. I feel like this is the same shit that we saw within America as well. Our democratically elected leaders were not upholding the COVID restrictions that they put in, and that caused so much confusion and frustration. Like it was definitely bad on their end. Don't get me wrong, but it's pushing further COVID and vaccine speculation. Anyway, I think we're beginning to kind of understand. Do we all have a generally good ideas as to why Sanna Marin did not win? While she remains very popular among Finns, particularly young moderates, she antagonized some conservatives with lavish spending on pensions and education they see as not frugal enough. Again, a very salient critique. However, it's not a good look, sweaty. Like, that's it. It's just optics. I wish it were different, but homie, it's just optics and you failed. You failed the optics check. The NCP has led in polls for almost 2 years, although its lead has melted away in recent months. It has promised to curb spending and stop the rise of public debt, which has reached over just 70% of the GDP since Marin took office in 2019. Orpo accused Marin of eroding Finland's economic resilience at a time when Europe's energy crisis, again, they're doing the American playbook. They're doing the we Finns used to be energy independent. Spoiler alert. Leia, what's up? Spoiler alert, neither America or the Finns, Americans and the Finns, neither have been energy independent. Resilience when Europe's energy crisis driven by Russia's war in Ukraine has hit the country hard and the cost of living has increased. I'm going to go ahead and just hamper a guess that it's my understanding that under Marin, they were going to be joining NATO. Yikes. I don't see that happening. I dare say that's not going to be on the table. once the NCP is in power. Orpo said he will negotiate with all groups to obtain a majority in parliament, while Marin said that her Social Democrats may govern with the NCP but will not go into government with the Finns party. Marin called the Finns party openly racist during a debate in January, an accusation of the nationalist group rejected. I feel like this sentence is so powerful. Thank you, Reuters. Yeah, the nationalists say, actually, we're not racist. How dare you? Show me one nationalist group in history that's been racist. Oh, okay, well, show me another. Okay, well, I bet you can't show me 5 more. Okay, well, maybe you're actually the racist for calling me racist. The Finns party main goal is to reduce what the leader Riikka Purra has called harmful immigration, there it is, from developing countries outside of the European Union. Oh, it's so boring. It's so... Nationalism is so boring. It calls for austerity policies to curb deficit spending. What austerity policies? A stance it shares with the NCP? Oh, no. Okay, well, let's learn about the NCP, shall we? The NCP is a liberal conservative party in Finland. Great. Ideologically, the National Coalition Party is positioned on the center-right of the political spectrum, and it has been described as liberal, conservative, conservative, liberal, and liberal, conservative. Great. Founded in 1918, the National Coalition Party is one of the big 3 parties that have dominated Finnish national politics for several decades, along with the SDP and the Center Party. The current party chair is Petteri Orpo, elected on June 11th, 2016. The party self-statedly bases its politics on freedom, responsibility and democracy, equal opportunities, education, supportiveness, tolerance, and caring. Something tells me that they actually believe the opposite of these things and supports multiculturalism and queer rights. Interesting. Are we talking about the same party here? Their foreign stances are pro-NATO and pro-European oriented, as they are a member of the European People's Party. Oh, okay, so they are pro-NATO, so I think the NATO deal would still go through, but they just support austerity. This sounds very much akin to the British Parliament in the 80s and 90s that just crippled the country with austerity measures, ruined the economy, increased the wage gap, did away with any crumb of hope for egalitarianism. Sorry, the party's vote share was approximately 20% in the parliamentary election since the 1990s, and only out of the coalition governments in 8 years. It won 44 out of 200 seats in the parliamentary elections of 2011, becoming the largest party in the Finnish parliament for the first time in history. On a municipal level, it became the most popular party in 2008. Okay, they're getting up there. I think that's what we can deduce here. Ideology and political position. According to its 2006 adopted party platform, the NCP's policy is based on freedom, responsibility, democracy. Yes, we went all over this. Everybody love each other. The party is described by literature as liberal and conservative, as well as liberal conservative. So are these guys just the Dems? I'm assuming they're just gonna cripple the working class under the guise of progressivism or liberalism in the party with the center right with catch-all party characteristics. The non-profit Democratic Society described it as the heir to both liberal and conservative strains of right of center thought that is becoming increasingly liberal compared to its stance of conservatism. Okay, so they are actually for multiculturalism, work-based immigration, gay rights, and same-sex marriage, although it was previously considered to have been critical of the Nordic welfare model and campaigned for strict doctrines of economic liberalism. Here it is. Yeah, the classic line of I'm fiscally conservative but socially left-leaning. This does not happen. Oh, I'm only racist insofar as economics. I'm anti-egalitarianism ultimately. That's where it comes down to. They do the loud parts in quiet. My dude is fucking losing it on that bone right now. I'll get a noise gate in here one day. Don't y'all worry. Don't y'all worry. Where were we? Okay, so they support generally socially left things without financially supporting it, leading to its inevitable collapse. The party in the 1970s shifted to supporting more social liberalism, such as increased social security and a welfare state. Okay, this was in the 70s, which was justified by increased individual liberty. Yes. Yeah, liberalism was different. I don't know about that short of a time ago, but at least in like the purview of the 1800s versus now. I think it's like arguing what liberalism could actually be, what individual rights and autonomy could actually look like.
That's cool.
Who was that? Howdy, welcome. Direct Fire 1, happy to have you here. All right, we go back to learning. In international relations, the party advocates for multilateralism. It is pro-European and supports the European integration with the European Union. Were they not working with the Finns party, though? Finns party, NCP, coalition. See, from what it sounds like, they're trying to take control. The right-wing government is trying to take control, or has taken control, I should say. And they're trying to cozy on up with the Finns party, the true Finns. I think this is where things get really shaky. What are we talking about today? Quite a bit, Direct Fire. We're starting with the Finnish elections, and then we're going to go through some other memes that I have listed in the title of this video. The Finns party, formerly known as the True Finns, is a right-wing populist party in Finland. Here we go. It was founded in 1995 following the dissolution of the Finnish Rural Party. The party achieved its electoral breakthrough in the 2011 Finnish parliamentary election, where it won 19.1% of votes. Okay. This is showing how popular they get over time. Where is ideology? Here we are. Ideology. The Finns party has been described as right-wing and far-right. It is a nationalist and national conservative party that opposes immigration. How is the NCP going to collectively bargain with this group, I wonder? Interesting. While on foreign stances, it is Eurosceptic. Ooh, boy. The party combines left-wing economic policies and economic nationalism. So the NCP is trying to coalition build with these guys and the SDP, if I understand that correctly. The party combines left-wing economic policies and economic nationalism. This never happens. Isn't it really curious, guys? Isn't it really fucking curious? Every time there's like a national socialist party, they always focus heavily on the nationalism aspect of things, and then on the socialism aspect of things, they just kind of do away with it. It's under the guise of what could be misconstrued as left-leaning populism, when that is not the case at all. Forgive me for bringing up the analogy. I've never, ever, 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 ever done this on stream before, but much like the Nazis who misapplied the term of socialism to themselves to gain popularity within their voter base, within the constituents of Germany. Do you mind if I ask some questions about certain sub-ideologies? I recently saw an iceberg of ideologies. I wanted you to know my opinion on them after we do this segment. Just so I appreciate your curiosity and enthusiasm. Well, we can do that. I think that'll be fun. But just to make me editing this less of a nightmare. So I'm being nice to future me. Stick around. Several researchers have described the party as fiscally center-left, socially conservative, oh boy, here it is, and a center-based populist party, or the most left-wing of the non-socialist parties. They're Nazbols, whereas other scholars have described them as a radically right-wing populist group, Nazbols. In the parliament seating order, the party was seated in the center of the plenary until 2019. The plenary? Interesting. Jury's still out on pronunciation. No one knows how to say that word, I guarantee you. Nobody. 2019. Until 2019. When they were moved to the right of the plenary, despite their opposition to the move. The party's supporters have described themselves as centrists. Classic. Nice meme. The party has drawn people from left-wing parties, but center aspects of their manifesto, oh boy, zbols, center aspects of their manifesto have gained support from right-wing voters as well. The Finns party has been compared by international media to the other Nordic populist parties and other similar nationalist and right-wing populist movements in Europe, while noting its strong support for the Finnish welfare state. Highly doubtful. It also calls for austerity policies. What austerity policies? What budget cutting are we doing here? Fiscal policies? Here we go. The party has called for the raising of capital gains tax and the reinstitution of wealth tax. It'll be interesting to see if they actually push for that. According to the party, the willingness to pay taxes is best guaranteed by a society unified by the correct social policies. Or you know what it could be is this nationalist shit, and they're trying to push for egalitarianism, but for who? Who receives these egalitarian benefits, right? Spoiler alert, it's not going to be immigrants. And spoiler alert, it's probably also not going to be the poor or people that they deem as, I think the historical term is swarthy, right? The electoral program warns against individualist policies, which weaken the solidarity among citizens. Great, they're zbols. The willingness to pay taxes is guaranteed by having a unified people. Yeah, the Volk. Well, at least they support agriculture. That's nice. Increased state investment in infrastructure and energy. Yeah, wasn't it a myth that like Hitler built the Autobahn? Wasn't it like, I don't know. There was general infrastructure spending. It doesn't make Hitler a good dude. Game Boy 64, welcome. Didn't mean for that to be so aggressive. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. We're learning about foreign politics for the time being. Energy politics, yeah, aspiration to energy self-reliance and support nuclear energy. They're zbols. Pro-industry environmental policy, opposition to green tax reform and to taxpayers' involvement. Oh, okay, so they actually don't give a shit about the environment. That was a meme. Classic. Current policies. Teaching healthy national pride in school. Great. Because of the unity of citizens to the basis of society. You know, this sounds fucking crazy, but we're doing the same shit here, so something tells me that I wonder if Ronnie has some Finnish roots in him, you know? Just general posturing. Yeah, we were going to talk about the whole Trump thing today, but honestly, I don't feel like there's much to talk about. We'll be laughing at some of the memes from it, though, so don't you worry. Removal of the obligatory character. Swedish is a mandatory school. What is the obligatory character? Oh, God, we're getting so lost. Mandatory Swedish. Removal of the obligatory character as the second official language. Oh, Swedish and Finnish language schools and vice versa. Yeah. Okay, so it's just more jingoistic nationalism, hyper-nationalism, and curriculums on all levels of education, freeing up time for the learning of other foreign languages such as English, German, French, Spanish, and Russian. Oh boy. Especially in the eastern part of the country. Obviously, allowance regarding of the Swedish language and its teachings will have to be made for those communes where Swedish-speaking populations are in the majority or on a large percentage of the population. Well, you know, when they put in the fucking death camps, something tells me there's not going to be a large percentage of Swedes. Swedish is one of Finland's national languages. Great. Support for cultural activities that promote Finnish identity. It's America shit. You know, for as fear-mongering as I'm being about Hitler shit Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, like we are literally doing this in America right now as we speak. So we are doing all of these and more right after the commercial break. Social policies, rejection of gender identity, opposition to same-sex marriage, same-sex adoption, in vitro fertilization and same-sex couples, given to same-sex couples and single women. Great. Immigration policies, yeah, they hate immigration, of course. Yeah, this is Euro-nationalist shit. Foreign policies and defense. What? With your population of 5 million, you're really opposition to integration of the European Union, reductions in foreign aid. Timo Soini has been an outspoken critic of both the EU and NATO, but stated that if a choice had to be made, NATO is the lesser evil of the EU. Okay, buddy. The Finns party favors the non-alliance or neutrality. Yeah, they don't want to take a side because when they fuck up, they know that everyone's gonna beat them like harder than they would if they would have joined. they're just going to stomp them even harder. So as international activities abroad for the defense forces would undermine the defense budgets for sustaining a large conscript army of wartime personnel, which is 350,000. What defense spending? When the Finnish parliament voted to ratify the Ottawa Treaty, banning anti-personnel mines in 2011, the Finns party was the only party unified in opposing that treaty. Of course. Judicial policies, tougher punishments for violent crime, more resources for police and prosecutors, opposition to any incorporation of Sharia law into judicial practices. Where is it? They're just doing the America playbook of like 15 years ago. They're doing it again. Game Boy, I'm gonna give you a timeout right now because I don't care. I'm not even gonna read your fucking messages. We're not talking about Trump. Move on. Literally rent free. Oh God. I'm genuinely not in the mood for this today. I promise. So, if I remember correctly, Orpo said he will negotiate with all groups to maintain a majority in parliament, while Marin said that her Social Democrats may govern with the NCP but will not go into government with the Finns party. Oh, no. So understanding this statement, I feel like that means that the Social Democrats are just going to fucking dip. And what this sounds like to me is that the NCP and the Finns are going to be in government, and it's really just going to be the Finns pushing them further right, moving that Overton window over and over and over. Marin, I'm sure I've said it both ways so far during this segment, called the Finns party openly racist, yeah, and a few other things during a debate in January, an accusation the nationalist group rejected. Hilarious. The Finns party main goal is to reduce what leader Riikka Purra has called harmful immigration from developing countries outside the European Union. Great. No Sharia law. Show me where the Sharia law is. Yikes. Okay, well, I understand now, and hopefully everyone else understands now as well, the harm that is being levied against the Finnish people right now. Not really all too sure what the implications of this are. However, I think that it's a generally good idea for everybody to remember that not just America, but the world is shifting towards populism. Now, see, it's going to be left-leaning or right-leaning populism, and to me, I feel like, not just because I'm a big old fucking commie, that the, if anything, more efficient approach to this is left-leaning populism and not right-leaning populism. The idea being that the problems that the lower classes and historically marginalized groups, well, more often than not, right-leaning populists just talk about lower classes. But let's say, for the sake of argument, hypothetically, we are just talking about them. Their material conditions are not going to be improved by just injecting austerity measures that strip away social policies. It's not going to be by banning immigration. The issue, see, is not people that look different than you. The issue is the material conditions that surround us, the socioeconomic conditions that surround us, and that is not, as any economist worth their salt over the better part of 100 years now has proven, is a net gain on the economy. So, I don't know. I worried about this. I worried about this during the Trump election and the Trump election part 2, Electric Boogaloo, especially with the insurrection and the mounting aggressive push towards right-leaning populism and the negation of democratic policies and elections abroad. That this is kind of the direction that we would be going. And sure enough, I don't know what this is going to mean for global politics. I don't know what this is going to mean for the war in Ukraine. I don't know. Do y'all think? Let's look at a world map. Do we think that the Finns would side with Russia? They are close. Look, they are right there, you know? I could see their cheeky little, I guess if we have to join NATO as some, limp attempt to get more voters when really they're very anti-NATO. I could see them cozying up with Russia. Also authoritarian, fascist imperialists. I could very much see that. Yeah, they got Sweden and Norway to the west. Eef. Yeah, I worry more about Sweden. I worry more about their inevitably the immigration policies that are going to be coming out of this and what the implementation of that looks like. All right, how are our brains? Do we feel nice, meaty, wrinkly? Do we feel equipped to talk about this in the future? Do we have any questions? What is a Finn? What do they eat? How many toes do they have? Okay, stop the segment. Stop, we're getting too unserious. I would think, if anything, the Finnish nationalists would rather not be with Russia. I could see it as a means to an end. I think if they, to me, I'm just posturing here. I'm just positing here, just based off vibes, you know? I could see them cozying up with Russia and saying, hey, like, if we help you out with our paltry $350,000, or $350,000, ugh, brain, wake up, 350,000 army troop base, if we help you guys, can you ensure that the world leaves us the fuck alone? I like Finnish politics, very similar to ours, yeah. Well, no, see, because they actually have social democrats in power right now, unlike us. So I feel like that's something, remember 1939? I feel like that's what they would say. Yeah. Time will tell. Time will tell. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you're so inclined, feel free to like and share the video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more. If you would like to join chat on stream, go pop on over to twitch.tv/CommieBravo. I hope to see you there.